Barbarian. Have y'all seen that one yet? Y'all into horror?
Nah, I don't watch that.
Kids.
Nah, I don't. What is it about?
So, from what I haven't seen it, I haven't even seen the trailer because I don't want to know too much about it.
Oh, so you want to go into it?
All I know is that they rent a house and some stuff happens, basically.
Bro, you got to be careful
because
y'all
Airbnb type of situation.
Airbnbs, they be watching people, bro.
What you mean?
In Airbnbs, they be having cameras. You got to be careful because they be having cameras in the walls looking like phone chargers.
So that they can watch you while you in.
Why you want to watch me eating a sandwich butt naked?
Nah.
What type of entertainment is that?
Do y'all ever just think like I could be somewhere? I could be somewhere on the internet naked.
That's cool.
I am somewhere on the internet. What do you mean?
It's a definite.
Yeah.
Can we start?
Let's start the pod, bro. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Soundboard Podcast. This is episode 60, the Big 60, and we are excited that you have tapped in.
Yes, sir.
It's your main man, Dante, and I'm here with...
It's your boy, JJ.
And with...
This is Coop.
And who we produced by...
Big KJB.
Yeah. He ain't on the mic, so we had to say that for him this time around.
He in the building now.
He in the building, though. He's always here. So, guys, welcome to the Soundboard Podcast. This is where we come every single week to ask pivotal questions like, am I tripping? Mm-hmm. Is it me? And so we just walk you through our being each other's soundboard for over 10 years. And now we're just letting you into the conversations that we have every single week. So, fellas, what's up?
Well, you know, this week was something special, celebrating another year of life.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, birthday boy.
Yes, sir. So celebrating another year.
What year is this?
This year 32.
Oh, that boy
Happy
old.
belated birthday.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And you know, actually, Dante called me on my birthday. He called me in the morning and he was like, hey, bro, you know, he was wrapping up the call. He's like, hey, man, I just hope you enjoy your day off, man, and just have a great day. And I was like, bro, I'm working.
Bro, it's blasphemy. I would never.
He just assumed I
never
was
work
off.
on your birthday?
I never work, but that's a national holiday. I take
never-
off the day before and the day
I
after.
never take off for my birthday.
Bro, what is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, bro.
Which
I be
holiday?
working.
Y'all don't.
Which
my
holiday
birthday.
is your birthday? Oh, just...
March 13th.
I thought it was like this actual
What do you mean? It is a holiday. The king
Mine is
took the
Memorial
throne.
Day, so that's
oh,
why.
no, you're actually on the holiday.
Yeah.
Nah, King,
yeah.
just March 13th. Mark it on calendar.
All right.
I will be
Mark it
off.
down.
Please join us. So, yeah, that just threw me off.
Yeah, no, I'll work on my birthday if it falls during the week. If it falls on like a Friday, I might take it off or something like that. But I worked a full day, and then my wife took me out to dinner.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I had
What you eat? At dinner.
we had dinner and dessert.
You heard? Where did y'all go to?
We went to Pangea, so it's a black.
Oh yeah, Black Home.
Yeah, black home. Have y'all been before?
I've never been. They don't have any vegan options.
They don't. I think they got
Nope.
salad.
I don't know.
Continue your point.
Is that
You
like
about
a
to make all
slur?
the-
Is that like a slur for vegan people? Like,
We don't want
they
to
got
just eat salad, bro. Continue your point.
Nah, it was good, bro. The vibe, it was a nice vibe in there.
Okay.
Music was vibing. It was dimly lit, so you know it was cool.
Romantic.
Yeah, and it was a Tuesday night, so you know it was a different type of crowd there on that evening. But the food was really good. I enjoyed it. I had some Cajun duo, so you know I had a little blackened catfish with a little crawfish etouffee on top.
Okay.
But it was good, bro. It was a good night.
Pinky up.
Good night, man.
I'm just so glad you to get the steak. Why every time black people celebrate, they go get a steak?
Yeah, I wasn't. You know, I thought about it. But I wanted
you don't
seafood.
like steak? Are you vegan? I forgot. You don't like steak.
But I enjoyed my birthday. I actually went into the day with a joyful mindset, and I kept it the whole day, man.
Who was the first person to tell you happy birthday?
It was pops.
He told you at midnight?
No,
I always try to be the first person.
Oh,
I told you at like 6 a.m., bro. Did you? Yes. Sent you a text. I didn't want to wake you up.
No, you should
You
have
probably
called.
missed it. It might have been you.
Yeah, my pops be texting like 5 o'clock, bro.
I know next year. 33 is mine.
He was second. Yeah, of course my wife was first, but then my pops, and then you.
He wins.
And then what was I like, fourth, fifth?
Yeah, you was a little.
But I called though, so calls mean more.
Yeah, you called.
It was too early.
Trumps calls,
it was too early.
Text messages.
Yeah. And Justin's wife Kim, she texts me happy birthday, and then Justin gonna respond, "You're welcome." Like he texts me happy birthday. I said, what?
Are we at that stage where like our significant others will reach out? Olivia tried to tell me because I was sitting on the couch and I was like, but I was talking about something else, and she was like, "You forgot JJ's birthday. Should we text?" I said, "Baby, I already talked to that man. That's my friend. Your friend by marriage. That's my friend. I already talked to him."
So yeah, I enjoyed it. But that's what's been up with me. Coop, what's up with you?
Your boy, I told y'all I've been going to karaoke night, getting my
I
singer
saw you.
on.
I saw the footage.
Bruh.
What were you singing?
Roses.
Outkast?
It's a hit. That's a hit.
Brought the club.
They were going nuts. I felt like I was somebody. So Roses, but also they have a amateur comedy night, so I've been going there on Wednesdays. Terrible.
Bro, that's bad comedy is so cringy because my biggest fear is that people not laughing, like a joke not landing.
You know what's
and
worse?
People just sitting there not laughing.
You want worse than that? Your friend is the only one laughing. So everybody in the bar is quiet, but your friend is supporting you laughing.
And that's bad. Or you know what else is bad? Where people fake laugh. You know, people.
That's what it's like. Like in the
And then it's quiet.
It's quiet. We're like, bro, it wasn't funny.
What was the worst joke you heard?
I don't know, but somebody yelled out, "It's not working."
Dude, oh my god.
Were these people doing like prepared jokes or was it straight improv?
So a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's my first time, so I've never done this before."
And they think that's gonna get them some grace.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not. One of the best joke I heard.
What?
It's kind of messed up. So it's a white guy. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm from Dallas, but I'm a Democrat." He's like, "My dad's Republican." He's like, "Yeah, he would not like y'all."
Okay,
Straightforward. I like it.
Funny. That
like
was
that.
funny. That was funny. So every now and then I get a laugh, but I'm laughing either way if they suck or not.
Was that the best part of his set, or was that
the best part of his set? Yeah, at least he has a beginning though.
Did he start out good? So he started out good, and it just got progressively
yeah,
worse.
he got something to build from.
I wouldn't even know how to start.
That is just a hard job that I would never. I did stand up comedy once, and bro,
You
it
did?
just, the anxiety in college I did it.
How did it go?
It went really well, but to me the payoff.
Were they laughing at you or the jokes?
The jokes was funny, boy. Please don't play with me. Please don't play with me. But it just the payoff wasn't. The amount of stress that I was under for that little 5-minute set just was not enough for me to want to do that on a continuous basis. I was watching comedy shows, like other comedians, just like surfing Twitter. This back when Twitter was popping, looking for content.
Were you stealing jokes?
Nah, not stealing. No, looking for inspiration. I was trying to find my comedic voice.
Okay.
But yeah, bro, it just the payoff wasn't enough for me.
I got you.
All that work for 5 minutes of laughs.
But that's all I got, bro. What's up with you, Dante?
Man, so speaking of birthdays, we celebrated this guy's birthday, and it was fun. We had a little a traditional game night. Wifey set up. I ain't gone. They ain't had no vegan options, but that's okay.
Not them not thinking of.
We thought about that.
They didn't have salad?
I'm joking. They had chips and salsa, bro. But thank y'all for being so hospitable. But it was dope, man. We played some games. What I've realized is I'm super competitive, and I don't like being on the team with people who are not as competitive.
I'm competitive. Why you
You
over
were.
here?
And Wifey was. G was.
Not them just trying to have fun.
Right.
We
trying to win. You would hate playing the board game with me.
I'm
just trying to have fun.
The cards were stacked against
And I
us.
hate losing at my own house.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Everybody get out.
And we lost both games.
Hey man, party's up.
Get the stuff.
Everybody go home.
Bro, we lost both games. We played
We ain't gonna say all that.
Taboo, and what else we played?
We played For the Culture or Culture Tags.
Culture Tags.
Oh, that's fun.
And so we just ended up losing, but it was good. We
was
celebrated
fun.
him.
It's always next year.
It really was a good time.
No, we're gonna do something again this year. We gotta redeem ourselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing until I win.
Okay.
So I'll see y'all at the next kickback.
Just waiting, like,
Right.
One of y'all got a host now.
No, we don't got no space.
Cool. Me neither.
Cool, you the only one with a house.
I have a baby.
Oh, he do.
That's okay.
We can bring baby's Trump on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, bro, that's all I had, man. Other than that, you know, we have a something different. So you probably are always wondering why Big KJB is not on the mic today. And it's because we have a special guest. Coop, who we got?
We got our boy Mike. We're working together. We're doing a collaboration.
Oh yeah, that's what you call it. Creators call it a
We're
collab.
doing a little collab or whatever.
Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, Soundboard community? My name is Michael Felder. Go by Mr. Felder online. I am a graphic designer, artist, creative director. Done a little bit of everything. I'm a DJ as well. Originally from LA. I lived in Dallas when I went to UNT for a while. So worked and met a lot of people while I was down here. And yeah, me and this guy connected. And
Karaoke night.
Yeah.
Okay, because I always want to know. Coop always goes out and just meets all these random people, and there's always a story behind it. So how did y'all meet at karaoke?
So actually through mutual friend, right? Through Lydia.
Yeah. So through Lydia. So my boy Calvin, shout out to Calvin. He owns Life's Good. It's like one of the LG over here in Dallas. And I went there one day. You know, I've been having some family issues and stuff, so I needed to get out of the house. And,
Respect.
So
shout out to you.
I showed up and started drinking and met this dude.
Playing that.
Yeah, we're playing the little hook game, you know, where you swing the ring and it attaches like it's two. Yeah.
You just
I found
me.
Yeah, I found the perfect angle. Like you just really got to keep it straight and let. So we was doing that and you know, just started talking about what we do. And I mentioned that I'm in design. He mentioned the podcast. I said you need some stuff done, and we went to IHOP and figured it out the next night. Like for real. Yeah. Sat over some French toast and drew it all up.
Where dreams are made.
Bro, you know what's so crazy? People always talk about how easily dudes can just become friends.
Yeah.
And I never hear like women be doing that too. Like they'll walk in the bathroom at the club or something.
Like, oh, you're pretty.
You're so pretty. Oh my God, you're so pretty.
Right.
And it never goes past that.
Yeah.
Dudes meet, end up at IHOP.
Talking life over French toast.
A couple days later, he on the podcast. It all started with the game. So shout out to you being here.
Share with some of the people that you've worked with in the past.
Yeah, so right now I work for Carrots. Shout out to Anwar. Carrots, the streetwear brand. I've done work for HBO, Spike Lee, the DOC, Gangstar recently, Joe Budden podcast. If you heard of that.
Big time.
Yeah, man. I'm blessed to be where I am in the industry. I know I have a lot of ways to go, even with the resume and the clientele that I have. But I'm just, humble and blessed to get every opportunity to show what I do.
So you said you went to UNT. Was your major graphic design?
Yeah, well, so they have CVAD, which is like the graphics program there. I was in the advertising program through the School of Journalism. So yes, it was some art direction, but I also got to learn, the basics of writing stories and public relations stuff, how to speak to brands, how to speak as a brand, certain stuff like that. So my actual like formal design instruction is mostly self-taught, but I did do a couple of classes that, pertain to what I had to do there through advertising. So art direction and copywriting, you put that together, that's advertising. The copy is the words, everything you hear said, and then the art direction is everything you see. So for print, that's, creating the magazine, getting the layout right, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever. You send it to the copywriter, they put the paragraph on it, and then it's in your magazine. So
that's hella dope.
Yeah,
I mean, I hear a lot about a lot of people that get into graphic design, But like listening to your resume, you done also made it in graphic design.
I appreciate that.
Which is super dope. But it also, I think it speaks a lot to like what you've been able to do.
Yeah.
And navigating that type of a field.
Right.
Have you always been interested in graphic design, or like how did that come about?
I've always been an artist in one way or another, man. I was telling him, like, starting out, it was making labels for my mom. You know, she was putting herbs together or sending letters or whatever, and she needed me to type something, so I ended up typing something, and then it moved to, you know, making my own comics with MS Paint, you know, Microsoft Paint back in the day, the little square boxes.
I used to draw on there.
Yeah, I'm saying,
I thought I was doing something.
But you didn't take it to the next level.
Yeah, you didn't put in the 10,000 hours, and that's why you're not doing it now. You just see it through.
So
So to answer your question directly, I've always been involved and interested in art in one way or another, for sure.
So you've reached a certain level of success. You named some big names that you've worked with. How did you go about? So basically, you're like entrepreneur.
Yeah. You know, Carrots, I have, you know, an art director and stuff like that. But in terms of all the other stuff, I do it myself. Yeah. So I got to be the one to make the calls and be the account manager, be the you know, public relations person, the art director, the billing and sales, all that.
So how did you go about attracting customers?
So my story is definitely unique. I've never really done like a formal advertising campaign, even for myself, in terms of like putting out ads saying, hey, I do design. I like to think that my work speaks for itself. But I owe a lot of those connections and opportunities to the people in my life in terms of my network. Like there are people that I know that are PR people. Like, for example, the DOC thing, a homie from college, Sarah Badran, she's in PR. So she needed design. So she called me and we worked together. So like without her having that need, I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't known her and known that she was doing that, then, you know, that would have been a missed opportunity for me. So it's definite, like, your network is your network. They say it all the time. And like, I hate the saying because they say it all the time, but it's so true. The people you know that aren't necessarily in the rooms that you're in,
Right.
if they're, you know, keeping you in mind, then you are in those rooms.
Right.
So it's like, the more people you know that are putting those kind of things together, the better it is for someone in my position. So yeah, like I haven't really done any ads. It's really just word of mouth. Hey, I saw this. I see that you're a designer, or I saw that you did this for this person. Can you do something for me? Like, you know, entrepreneurs, like small business people, the homies, like all the way up to corporations and businesses. Like I don't turn away a lot of work.
Yeah.
Bro, I think that is. I think that's so interesting because, you know, our generation is the generation of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But it is also difficult because you see so many other people doing what you want to do, and for a lot of people, it can almost give you like, you walk into a room and you're like, do I belong here?
Like imposter syndrome.
Like you
Yeah,
can have
for sure.
imposter syndrome. Is that something that you, as a graphic designer, as an entrepreneur, did you ever experience that? You said you work with Nas and Joe Budden podcast.
Not Nas, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But is that something that you experienced where you're just like, you find yourself in this room or you find yourself at this job and you like, I don't know if I have the skills to pull this.
That's why I had
off.
to stop with MS Paint.
That boy felt like he was lying.
This ain't me.
This ain't me.
Let me live in my truth.
I'll put it to you like this. I'm hard pressed to find a day where I don't have some sort of, if not survivor's remorse, then imposter syndrome,
Right.
for sure. Just in what I do.
That's real.
I've gotten better at curbing it, at making it only last a couple of minutes sometimes, you know, but project to project, I deal with that a lot. I got to be real with you. I deal with that a lot. Even in the positions that I'm in now, like sometimes I feel like I'm drowning when I'm not, you know?
Right.
And so I get to look at the homies' work and the stuff that they're doing. Like I have friends that are in the industry that do, you know, really big projects.
Right.
And so sometimes I look at that and I'm feeling like what I'm doing is small potatoes, but I think a certain amount of tunnel vision is necessary.
Okay.
As an entrepreneur, different levels for different industries for sure, but as a graphic designer or as an artist or as a content creator, it is so important to put blinders up sometimes. Like, not that you're not paying attention to the work around you, not like being involved with everything that's happening, but just to continue to keep going, like you gotta stay focused. Like, you can't allow what's going on out here or even out there to affect the work. Like, the work comes first.
I think that's big because, I mean, you're talking about putting on the blinders, and you're speaking from an entrepreneurial standpoint, but shoot, even just in a 9 to 5, like sometimes that imposter syndrome also hits me, and I'm like, I find that it's usually when I don't have those blinders on, like when those distractions are coming in, or you trying to compare yourself to somebody else. But if you can have that tunnel vision, like then you golden.
Your path is your path in this industry and in every industry. Like you see success stories all the time of people who popped at 35, popped at 40, popped at 50 because they did the work that they needed to do all the way up until then. Or they found the work that they needed to do a year or 5 years before it all popped off. Like, again, everyone's story is different. So for me to be looking at what someone else has going on and comparing it to that, it's only going to be a detriment to what I have going. So
for sure. And even just, imposter syndrome, you mentioned that it's something that you got to the point where now you can kind of talk yourself off of that ledge. Is there anything that you do specifically that works for you? Because we always want to provide people with a tangible step that they can take when that does come up. Because if you don't talk yourself off the ledge, you go into what I call the spiral, where if you don't talk yourself off, it just goes deeper and deeper, and the lies just get deeper and deeper. So, is there a tangible skill that you do, even if that's just affirming yourself, writing it down, or just how do you recognize it and then attack it?
Yeah, because even on that note, you said that like that imposter syndrome only lasts for you like a few moments, and then you're able to kind of push past.
I mean,
it.
I have my bad days. I can't, I ain't gonna front like I don't. But yeah, like I've gotten to a point now where I can kind of curb it off. And so to answer your question, sometimes you just gotta zone out. Like a lot of the time when I do work, it's to music. But sometimes the lyrics or whatever's going on, I get wrapped up in that. So if I'm in a hole or I feel like I need to get pulled out of it, like I put some motivational stuff on. Like and I'm so new to that, and it feels like, I don't want to say corny to say, but like it's like not everybody is on that, or like the people that are on that are kind of act a certain way in terms of their mindset. Like, so I'll put on it's this dude Eric Thomas.
Oh yeah, he told me.
Y'all know. Y'all know. Yeah. Not this dude. What you want us to see? You just want to bring be successful.
You don't want it bad enough. The problem is you don't want it bad enough. And so we went to the beach. And he told me to walk out. And he said, walk out. He said, walk out.
But really, though. My dad and my mom and like the people that are of that age in my life been trying to show me this dude for like 5-10 years, right? And it's just like recently where I knew that I needed some sort of like, I'm a person that always believes in a positive outcome for the future, even if right now like sucks, right?
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
That's
So
like,
for me
that's
to
like cool.
So for me to have, it's
It's
like
like optimism.
Yeah.
right. So for me to have that in here, even like when it doesn't match what's happening out here, I gotta put in here what I believe to be out there.
In the mental, that's good, bro. That's good.
So in that moment, like I really been on his podcast. The Secret to Success. I just started from like 200 when they started doing the videos, and I've just been watching them in consecutive order.
Every Friday, they drop every Friday, bro.
So I'm catching up to the newer ones. Like I'm still way back in like 250 somewhere, but
He just came out with a book, and I just my
CJ
sister just gave it to me for my birthday.
There you
So I'm
go.
gonna check that
You
out.
owe you. Do you owe you?
Man, we doing whole ads for this guy. Shout out Eric Thomas, man. Get us
He gonna come on the podcast, bro.
One day, you know,
we
we
gonna
gonna get
have
him.
him on the podcast
That'd
one
be
day
dope,
because I
one
do
day.
think that they provide so much valuable content. But even as black men, I think a lot of times we grow up and you may not necessarily have grown up in a home where you were affirmed. So to your point, when you start listening to stuff like that, you think it's corny. Like
Right,
for a long
yeah.
time, I used to always be like, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Like
Right.
it doesn't equate to me because that may not necessarily be what I experienced growing up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you kind of have to push past that barrier so that you can actually hear that because we don't hear it enough. You know what I'm
even
saying?
that in itself is imposter syndrome. Like believing that
Right.
for whatever reason, like this positive messaging can't apply to you or what you have going
Right.
on.
Good point.
Right.
Or that like whatever he's imagining is so far out of reach for your life. Like it's not. Like
And-
it's
yeah.
not.
And I think that's why it's so impactful because I don't want to skip over the fact that it's really just boils down to a mindset. And on the podcast, they're speaking to the mindset. But even to overcome imposter syndrome, it boils down to your mindset. So even you
Yeah.
thinking about my situation right now is not what I want it to be.
Right.
How can I change my mindset, my belief to be able to align with the expectation that I want? It's all a mindset. So you got to be able to train your mind
To believe.
that. But oftentimes I think we skip over what are those tangible steps to do
Right.
that. Right. Like
It's just getting it in
easier
your
said,
ear,
but if you're not,
literally.
what are you consuming? What are you taking part of? How are you going to be able to? So
Yeah.
you switched up your
So,
diet
yeah,
to be able to
literally.
say like, hey, yo, I'm starting at episode 200.
Yeah, like I'm normally when I work, I'm the type of person that sometimes it's music when it's crunch time when I can't watch something and be semi distracted or whatever. Sometimes if it's busy work, I'll put on a TV show or something. Like
Right.
I love Lost. I watch Lost like on repeat sometimes. Or like, Breaking Bad or like a long show, something like that to
Right.
put on in not necessarily in the background, but just something that you might have seen before.
And you don't need to go and
Yeah.
watch
Right,
it.
right. But even that, like, starts to affect how you are doing your work, even if you don't realize it. So for me, it was like, okay, if I know that I need something still in the back to like start fueling what I'm doing, like if I got to recharge, then like you said, I got to change up my diet in terms of what I'm taking in. So a lot of what I've been taking in is his content, like just straight up, like not any of the people like him, not any of the Tony Rock. Like I dealt with all of that stuff. My dad has kind of been on that road for a long time. The Zig Ziglars and all of that.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
that's the
So I'm
OGs.
aware. So I'm aware of all of that, which is why I was probably even more incensed to be like, I heard this already.
I
right?
get it.
But for ET, it was just like it's a specific. Just to see somebody look like me doing
And
that.
it's
stuff.
more of a coach.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you kind of see him as
Yeah.
a coach, as a
100.
coach for you. He's like coaching you up to just believe that success, like you can have success.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't actually believe they can have success.
Facts.
So even when we talk about entrepreneurship, bro, you have so many people who want to step out on that ledge, who either have a side hustle that they want to take full time and they're nervous to do that, or even just wanting to do something and you don't put it out. Like we always talk about how I always say, "Oh, I'm a speaker," but I don't necessarily put that brand out. So then you have to ask yourself, like, why don't you do that? And I think a part of it is you want things to be perfect. So
Yeah.
for you, I know your designs. I've seen your work now, but I know that hasn't always been what your designs look like.
Yeah,
How you
not
know?
at all. Well, you gotta start somewhere for
His
sure.
designs in paint ain't looking like his designs now.
fire.
Exactly, no, for sure.
But what?
The man on top of the man on top of the mountain didn't land there.
Am I keeping the black man down? There you go. Am I keeping the black man down? I'm sorry, bro. Maybe you've been good. Maybe you've been good your whole life.
Nah, not at all, not at all. And I don't preach that either. I'm different from a lot of. I'll put it like this: there's kind of a culture in design to try to take something that exists or flip it into your version.
Right.
Like Kanye put out a new album, or J. Cole or whoever, and you like, oh, this is my version. Like I always admire that work. I love a lot of the work that comes out of that, but I've seen so many situations like that go left to where I just started working for my friends, literally. The first logo I ever did was out of need. My friend was doing a radio show at UT Arlington, like in 2012. He needed a logo. So I literally said,
Who your friend?
my boy Joshua Wilson. So that's who I was. My boy Jay Will, who I was telling you about. Don't Take It Personal podcast. So that's where he started.
Bro, that's when. So I was
Live
at
from the
UTA.
Underground was the
I was
name
at
of
UTA at that time. In fact, I had a radio
you
show
remember-
during that same time.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Live from the Underground was his thing. Shout out Jay Will. He would basically get a lot of the artists from the Dallas area, have me edit their songs because curse words, and play that instead of, what was on the playlist
Right.
because it was just, top 40
Right.
regular stuff that, people were already hearing on regular radio. You asked me, what was the question? You asked me,
How did your design?
so how did it start? Go from there to there. So just continuing to work for my friends and
And working for free,
provide
I'm
a need.
assuming.
Yeah, well, at first, yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. Like I've done free work for sure, but even back then I tried to get something, whether it was $20 or
Chick-fil-A,
$50.
some.
Even
Buy
some.
your boy lunch.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Sometimes even just that, but even just that as a gesture is like, you got to know your worth, even if you're just starting. So for me, yeah,
That's
like
big.
it started out just providing a need, doing logos for my friends. Their friends saw those things
Right.
and needed stuff. And my skill level built from there, like for paid work versus me toiling away on an album cover for Rihanna. And then her design team sees that and they flip that and
Right.
make money and I get nothing.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, see, cause that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all don't want to start.
Not y'all.
Y'all sit over here reaching out to Rihanna and them when you need to start helping the people that's right in front of you.
But Issa Rae said it, and it's one of the most valuable pieces of advice I ever got. Work across, not
she did say that. She
Yeah,
did say
the
that.
people that are around you. You look at like the cast for her first show,
Right.
like it was just her homies and
Yeah.
like the people that were in her life. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm not downplaying her at all. Like she grew to where she's at now, but at her start, Awkward Black Girl. Like I remember watching that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like work with what you have where you're at, and like don't be ashamed to ask for help, because the people that are in your life, like, provide value to them.
Right.
Because if you can provide value to them, if they provided value to you outside of what it is that they're doing, then it just works reciprocally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people continue to see that and need it for themselves, and then they ask, and that's how you get to HBO,
No, that's
That's
good.
dope.
That's good. So, to somebody out here, we know in today's world, we talk about social media and all that, and everybody now is a brand.
Yeah.
Everyone is a brand.
Yeah.
What is some advice that you would give to people in regards to their brand in itself? Because you're a graphic designer, but you are also like the strategy part of it too.
Yeah.
So like, what advice would you give to somebody who's either themselves are trying to start a brand for themselves, or like they have a brand that they're trying to push?
Be a person first, I think, is the most important thing that I could probably say in that regard. I don't act like a brand. Like I'm me. I'm a person. I create things. I do things in a professional context, but I can have fun too, right?
Right.
I'm saying that, I guess, in regards to social media, right? Like, I try to keep things to a certain degree in terms of professionalism, in terms of what I put out there. But I would say don't be afraid to be a person. Like, be a person that's interested and involved and influenced by whatever it is that you love doing. And that's going to shine through and be more genuine than I'm purporting myself to be, an entrepreneur, business person
Right,
type
right,
thing.
right.
Like, show what your interests are. Show why it is that you love doing what you're doing, but be a person first. And I think it's just, you get more respect that way, because people start treating you like a brand when you act like a brand.
Right.
I'm not a brand. I'm a human being.
Lead with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
And I mean, even that, it sounds like you talking about being a person, but lean into your authenticity. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you were talking about how you're different in how you approach things.
Yeah.
But a lot of people purport what they're
That
trying to
they're
do,
different,
and they're
yeah.
trying to like become something that they're not. You know what I'm saying? People see through.
I definitely don't believe in faking until you make it. You know, that's something I got from ET again, you know, but like, well, again, work with what you have where you are until that elevates. You know what I mean? Like if you help literally, if you're a chef and you know somebody who plans parties every month, say, hey, I want to cater one of your parties.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if it's just a homie, even if it's one meal and you don't get paid for it, somebody, you put a little business card in your muffin or whatever, and then somebody sees that and says, hey, I need something. It just continue. If you give your gifts to the people in your life, then God makes room for the rest. Like,
good.
you know what I mean?
That's a
Like,
word.
That's in the Bible, for real, for real. It's in the Bible. Could be like, is that in the Bible? It's in the Bible. That's actually in the Bible, bro.
Okay, I gotta open that thing up again.
ET didn't say that. That's in the Bible. Nah, bro. I just think that's dope, bro. Anytime we get a chance to like connect and collab with like a somebody who's legit out here living that life, bro. I think that's just so dope, bro. Because a lot of people allow fear to stop them. They allow fear to keep them from making that move or starting that business or even putting the brand out on social media. And so when people push past that barrier, I think it could just teach so many people about how to do that for themselves. And so you done dropped a couple of different gems. I think my favorite one has been, you know, don't be upset with the small starts. So doing something for a need for like a friend could give way to something so much bigger one day.
And it's like, you know, definitely don't get taken advantage of. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the energy that we're putting into somebody that's a star. I'm doing a cover for Drake. Drake got people to do covers for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not that I couldn't be one of those people eventually, but what I'm saying is I'm not. I guess it's like kind of a don't count your chickens before they hatch thing, but don't break eggs either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going out of my way to do things for someone that I know can do that for themselves and more.
Right.
But instead, like you said, I'm reserving that energy and giving it to the people in my life that I know need it more than, you know, someone else that's not asking for it. That's just me.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
big.
so good. That's so good. Mike, drop where people can find you. What's your IG?
Everything is Mr. Felder, MisterFelder. That's my Twitter, my Instagram. My website is mykofldr.com.
We'll add a link to the.
Yeah, for sure.
post. Yeah,
And
for sure.
in terms of what we got coming up next, it's a little refresh. Some
Yeah.
stuff coming
Yeah.
for y'all.
Yeah.
Stay
Don't
tuned.
say too
Stay
much, Mike. Don't say
tuned.
too much,
Stay
Mike.
tuned. Stay
Don't say
tuned.
too much, Mike. Give the people. Don't say too much. Don't say too much. But now, Mike, you a part of the soundboard. So now we got to go handle some business.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, man, I just want to get y'all's opinion about something because y'all know this is where we come to ask, am I tripping? Like, is it me? So me and wifey were having a conversation about kind of a little tussle we were having. A little tiff amongst ourselves.
A tiff, if you will.
And it's been like a little tiff. It's been a reoccurring tiff. And so we were talking about
Chronic tiff.
not a chronic tiff. Not a chronic tiff. Calm down. But we also are watching this. You know, when you get married, you just start doing stuff that you just would have never saw yourself doing. But now we be watching Married at First Sight.
Well, you should have been plugged into ET.
Bro, I done got so invested. I be on Twitter looking up the hashtag, trying to see what people saying about the show. You know what I'm saying? I never would have thought I saw this life for me. Alas, we're here. So on this season of the show, there was a couple that ultimately they chose to divorce early on in the season because the wife felt like the husband was telling his side he was confiding in another husband, but to her side she was saying that you were going telling their business. So me and wifey are watching this, and she posed the question to me, and it made me realize y'all my people, but I don't be letting y'all in my business.
Okay.
Because even when we were talking about that particular situation, she asked me, she said, well, have you gone to, like, do you talk to Coop and them about this? And I said, nah, I don't want them in my business. And so it just raised this idea of like, do you really, can your friends check you? Or like, is there accountability? Or can you go to your friends for true, authentic wisdom with people that's on y'all level? So I really want to get y'all's take on that, because do y'all be telling y'all friends all y'all business when it comes to y'all relationship and just life in general?
Y'all know I'm quick to call one of y'all.
You know what?
I called you last week.
Hey, Coop, I want to be, I was like, Key gonna listen to this and just know your husband lied to you. Coop calls me, bro, and we're talking. He's like, hey, bro, tell me if I'm tripping. So Coop is going through the scenario, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't think you tripping. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you tripping. All of a sudden, he says, hey, bro, let me hit you back. I hear Keith coming to the room. I hear Keith come to the room, start talking to him. And he like, oh, yeah, Casey just cried. I think she just cried. He say, hey, bro, let me call you back. No lie. 30 minutes later, he calls me back. He's like, all right, bro, as I was saying. Anyway.
I had to go take a car ride.
Let me go run an errand.
Smoking out the window.
So cool. You don't have a problem with that. Have you always been like that? Or is that everything? Because that was kind of...
I think as I got older, I was more open to it. When I was younger, I was real like, don't tell nobody nothing about me. I ain't gonna you know what I'm saying? Like,
not you being emo.
Because she'd be like, yeah, I was talking to email about that and they think, I'm like, don't be telling them my business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, I understand the value of having input from other people that you trust. Not everybody, but your soundboard.
The soundboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's like, I always want to make sure that I'm not off tilt. Like my mindset is right. I'm not going about this the wrong way. And just having a counsel is important when you make any type of decision.
That's good. So I want to throw it to Mike. Mike, do you is that something you're comfortable with, like talking to your friends authentically about the things that go on just in your life and your relationships?
Yeah, I think I have the opposite problem. I think I let the homies in too much. Like,
That could be a problem too. That could be a problem too.
Like, I'm pretty open. So when it comes to stuff like that, where I really do need advice or questions and stuff like that, like I definitely have a small community of, you know, friends and homies that I can ask questions about, whether it's work stuff or, you know, personal life stuff, to try to get my mind in order and get me, you know, set up before I do. My boy Dewey Saunders, shout out to Dewey, is like one of the homies who's just, he's super, super talented. He's worked with Anderson .Paak and Future. He's done album art for them. So I can go to him with like life stuff, with, you know, design stuff, whatever. And he's at a certain level where it's above me for sure. And I can recognize and respect that without feeling slighted about saying that.
Right.
And because I recognize the difference in where he is and where I am, I can get a perspective from him that I may not be able to get from, you know, just the homies that are the same age as me, or on the same level as me career-wise. So I definitely, I mean, I think therapy is important for that kind of thing too, because sometimes the perspective of the people in your life, they want to be on your side.
Yeah,
they want to be.
No, I'm cool. It's like, you need to get your woman.
It's like sometimes not everybody else is tripping. You know what I mean? So that perspective is definitely needed from friend, like we said, across and above. So it's like,
you said it was it sometimes is a problem, like you let people in too much.
Yeah.
Why you feel like that could be or how has that been a problem, I guess?
I get like the way, I don't know. It's like the way you said it, it made it seem, it kind of clicked in my head that maybe it's not as big of an issue as I'm making it out to be, right? I think that sometimes for me, I have a lone wolf syndrome. Like even if I get advice, load up like my, you know, advice backpack, so to speak. I still want to feel like I make that journey on my own, right? Like making those choices and those decisions. So I think because of that, it could be an issue if too many people know every step that I'm taking because I'm getting advice from.
You getting a
left
lot
and
of
right.
different opinions.
I was gonna
about
say
it.
that.
Yeah.
Right. No,
so
I can
because
see that.
I'm quick to not necessarily tell too much, but just to let somebody in on where I'm at, like in life, like my level, like what I got going on, like some people use that against you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
it's the
And
wrong
that's-
person, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So it's discernment. It's knowing when to say too much, quote unquote, and when to say not enough. Not enough, but I think like finding that
The balance. No, that's good. That's good.
because then you don't want to seem like you're somebody that's just constantly complaining about everything that you got going on.
Here you go again.
Right. This nigga. Somebody.
Oh, let me guess. Y'all struggling again?
Rejecting your
But
calls
and,
and stuff.
and so I've been that person, I think, to a lot of the people in my life inadvertently, right? Like not necessarily wanting to be, just trying to be open and honest about what I have going on, but for some people that's too much or they don't want to hear that.
I think everybody has been that person
Yeah.
at some point in time. Like I remember in college, and I love JJ so much.
Why you gotta line it up like that?
right.
You
You
lining
remember
it
this?
up like
Do you
Top
remember
Gun.
this? We was like, JJ, we don't want to talk about this no more.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, I remember.
Uptown.
But I was gonna say that, like, I think I'm very similar in a lot of ways, because I think that whenever I meet people, and I'm such a like a conversationalist, but
Right.
also like a people person, that I will naturally want to like let people in, right? Because
Let people know who you are, right?
essentially, and then I'm also like, people are sharing, I want to share a little bit too, and so what I feel like I had to learn, similar to you, is that discernment piece of
Right.
But here's the problem for me is, like, early on, kind of what Dante said, it was like maybe I was talking about it too much.
You were just thinking aloud.
Yeah, all the time. And it's like, all right, well, now I need to dial it back.
Yeah.
But I think now I probably dialed it back too much,
Right.
to where I'm more shut
Closed
off
off, yeah.
from letting people in.
Right.
And so to your original question, like, for me now, I think the challenge is that it's more from a reactive standpoint than a proactive standpoint.
Right. So you bring in people at the end.
I'll bring in people when now it's an issue. Like, there is a
Like, it's definitely
legitimate
a problem.
Clearly somebody tripping in this. Right? And so now I'm doing damage control because of the problem done got so big.
Right.
Versus if I had that relationship already, and that accountability was essentially structured or set up in my life, that on a proactive tip, I could have prevented this probably from happening. Or y'all could have done checked me or held me accountable and been like, hey, bro, you tripping on this,
Right,
whatever
right,
it is.
right.
So I think it's trying to find that sweet spot of like, how much do you share? When do you share? I think that's the challenge.
Right.
Yeah, I think when it comes to relationships, you also have to be, with relationships especially, you always also have to be careful. So one of the things that Olivia and I realized was when we first dated the first time, Olivia was going to her friends about everything, and so when her friends did not like me.
That's what
So
I'm
even
saying.
when we
That's the
even when we
thing.
came back, even when we started to date again, her friends were like, "Oh nah, we don't like Dante."
Because they only hear, every time they hear you, it's about something bad.
Every time they hear, it was always something bad. And don't get me
You
wrong,
wasn't doing
Olivia,
nothing good.
don't do that. Don't do that. Watch your mouth. Even when we was dating the first time, I did a lot of good, but it was all. But you highlight the things that are bad, and so
Right.
you start to your friends. You got to be careful because your friends start to feel like that about your significant other. So even my homeboy's going through something right now with his girl. And I told him, I said, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, even if y'all rectify the situation, I can't tell you that I'm gonna be a fan. I mean, I'm gonna support you, but sis is out with me. She on her last leg with me. So, I just thought that was an interesting conversation because Olivia challenged me and she said, well, if we keep having, this keeps being a continuous conversation, why do we not bring in our friends into this? You say these are our friends and they're supposed to be wisdom and wise counsel. How can we do that? And I just told her, like, I don't even know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what that looks like. So do y'all be going to y'all actual friends when you and the signif is having a little bit of a tiff.
Well,
if you will.
the crazy thing is that we have a producer on site who actually kind of lives this out a little bit, right?
Do he? Will
And
he?
He kind of subscribes a little bit to what you're talking about.
3 grown men on this little couch. I wish y'all could see this.
3 men in the couch.
That's what the soundboard is about.
Hey, this is an intimate moment right here, man.
I've never been this close to y'all.
This is why y'all need to subscribe and listen so we can get the studio.
Hey, there you go. Yep.
But yeah, so when it comes down to like accountability, like it's something I really hold high. So when we're talking about a group of trusted friends,
Right.
So as I was going through like my life, like y'all being my soundboard, as I went through relationships, y'all were still my soundboard.
Right.
So me being in a relationship, going to engagement, going to marriage, like y'all are still the trusted circle. So bringing both of our friends in our lives together, I felt like it was worth having a conversation to say, hey, this is my trusted circle. They've gotten to know you. Now they're our trusted circle.
Okay.
So that being said, like whenever we have like real scenarios, like yes, there's avenues for therapy, definitely, especially when it comes down to like psychological things or
Right.
some things are deeper, even like
Childhood
spiritual
traumas and stuff like that.
spiritual stuff. Like hey, we have a pastor and all that. Like there's different avenues for things, but like things on like a peer level or just like relationship level, like all of us being married type thing, like. We all going through married problems. Why are we going through married problems in silos?
Because we don't want to be Tyler Perry. That's my biggest fear, Justin. We all sitting at Thanksgiving and they say, well, did you tell you got your tubes tied? You didn't get that from us. You got that from Marcus. He said, I ain't that.
Hey, I think the key word was trusted circle.
They were trusted too, bro. I don't want us to be a Tyler Perry Christmas.
You need to start watching Tyler Perry on flights.
He's his biggest fan.
Yes.
Boo.
But in regards to that, it's like, okay, we have our trusted circle. So for Kim and I, you know, we essentially our relationships kind of went in tandem with the Josephs. Like
Right.
we hung out before when we were dating. We hung out while we were engaged. And we hang out now that we're married. So like I said, we didn't want to do things in silos. So we had a conversation like, who are our trusted couples? Because we go through things and we talking about things. We having disagreements in the house, and then we all know with this married life, like you stuck in
Stumping
the
around.
house.
Just stumping
You
around.
stuck in the house, yeah. And it's like, nah, like we not about to just call the therapist up right now.
No. That's what we pay for.
But we know we hanging out with the Josephs in about a week type thing. All right, let's put it on there. And like, all right, when we chopping it up, it's a little awkward at first, but like, hey y'all, we have a scenario.
Can you tell her?
But it ain't even laid up like that.
Tell me why. Get your ring. Get your ring.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Speaking of this,
See, that's the attitude. No, that'd be the same attitude you be giving at that house.
Am I tripping? Is it me?
But once you do it, once it becomes very, very casual, but it's not like a negative or like a catty, like try to like pick at your significant other. It's like, yo, we legitimately are having a disagreement. And I believe y'all are having the same one. We can talk about general stuff like cooking, cleaning, like these stuff that happen in every household. So we brought a couple of things like, hey, like we'll lay it out. Both people speak. It's kind of like homie court type thing. And it's like, okay, what are y'all thoughts? Because we just want to know, like, you know, what it's like on the other side. Because also,
Right.
I think it levels the playing field when a level of comparison might come up. It's like, hey, like, I see that they do something differently. All right, well, let's talk to them about it.
Right.
Let's not, like, imagine how they go about this. Like, they just woke up one day and they solved their problem.
Right.
No, like, they probably going to break it down and we have conversations like, okay, we don't have the specific issue because we made a different choice. It's like, all right, now we understand that. We have the mechanic behind the product that we see. So we've had a couple conversations. It was like, hey, this is our trusted circle. It started off with like problem solving, and then it also comes with more transparency. We've had conversations where we've revealed things like, hey, this is something that has happened my whole life that y'all didn't know about me.
Right.
But like we're in community with each other, so I would rather tell you now than if something happens and you're like, oh, I thought we were cool.
Right.
Boy, that sounds like that really worked.
Yeah.
I would say,
Look at me.
I would say to that, like it does. I think there's value in that just from the experience that we've had, because when they lay it up, oftentimes I think we are so used to going through life through our perspective and looking at life through our lens that even when they bring it up to us, I think we have such a community between us that we can hold each other accountable, but we can speak real.
Right.
So I'm not gonna sugarcoat something to Justin just because that's my boy. I'm gonna speak to it. I'm like, bro, now you tripping. Like, you might have been selfish in this moment.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason why you've been selfish is because I'll share from this is how we do it, maybe, and this is how we approach it. But here's the mindset behind why we do it. Right. So all it does is it just broadens the exposure, and it says, okay, think about it from this perspective. And then it also, you have a different opinion to see maybe there is a way that we can come together to say, all right, this may be the best approach to handling this type of situation in the future. It's just maybe a way that you weren't thinking about before. And you can also identify certain discrepancies in each other that maybe you can't see because you're blinded by the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I think it really opens a bigger discussion of, like, do you really trust your friends? Like, we know you come in, you talk to your friends about, like, surface level things, but, like, do your friends legit know where you are? And not from, like, a physical perspective, but, like, where you are from a mental perspective, where are you from an emotional perspective? And I think that was the challenge that Olivia was saying, like, do people know where we are? Because if we on this island by ourselves, we don't ever want it to get so bad, and we see it all the time where people will live on an island and then people will pop up and be like, oh, we getting divorced, and you like, what
Yeah.
When?
like, when did this happen?
Yeah,
And we see on social media, like, oh, I thought they was always they posted photos, I thought they was good.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, this whole time they been struggling in silence.
And I don't want that for y'all. This is a safe space.
Hold on, not y'all, just everybody. For everybody. For everybody, King. For everybody. But so when you receive stuff like that, one, you have the trust factor. So although we all been friends for over 10 years, like, do you trust your friends to, like, have those transparent conversations, like real conversations?
And this also, I'll just say this too, to that point, like being on the other side of it, it's also about confidentiality. Like, can you be loyal to this and not start to gossip on this situation? Because then you're gonna lose all credibility. Right. You lose all trust once you start sharing other people's issues to other people.
This really my mama fault. Because I was raised, you keep what go on in this house.
That's real.
You keep
That's a black
what
rule.
happens in this
Yeah.
house
For real,
stays
yeah.
in this house.
Yeah.
And then if you grow up always hearing that, and to a certain extent, that's how I think about a lot of things. Like, y'all my friends, but a lot of my mental thing is what happens in this house stays in this house.
I feel like
And
that's generational
curses.
sometimes.
That's how they get passed down.
Yeah, because I mean, not that it
Not my mama
back then.
fault.
I'm saying back then in certain situations, knowing what somebody had going on could prove dangerous. I
Right.
guess.
That's
true.
It's like,
That's true.
So for them, it's like trying to keep that guard up is a way of self-defense. Like, we deal with our issues between us here. It's like, to a certain degree, that makes sense.
To a certain degree, yes.
But when it comes to running into the way of, like, actual real life issues, like things that other people have dealt with before that could give you that perspective to deal with it easier now, it's like, yeah, I probably should have told somebody something. You know?
So this is the thing. I think, all of us, I would say, are grown men. All of us are grown men. Y'all ain't grown?
Nah, I didn't know if you was talking about you or what.
I'm a grown man. Don't play with me. See, when you got to check your friends. So we've established that we are working on the full trust and transparency with the people that we are across. But, like, do y'all have somebody that y'all answer to as men who can come in, that you have allowed transparency, who can come in and check you in life, in marriage, just in general? Do y'all have that? Because I was thinking about it, bro, and I don't necessarily think I have that.
I don't have enough of it for sure. Like, I kind of mentioned earlier that I have, some homies that are above me that, like, I'm submissive to in that way. But, like, in terms of their advice, I take it at face value and for what it's worth to help me what I'm going through. But I don't think I have enough of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I want to.
I
Y'all's
need
taking
more of
that.
it for
Do y'all
sure.
do y'all have that? Do you have somebody that you can answer to?
I don't know, bro. I feel like as you get older, I don't know if is that ego, pride, like
It could be.
think it's all of that.
Look, this is my therapist.
They
Let's
expect
explore
men to
that.
deal with our stuff. It's like they expect men to deal with our stuff alone, or to not even have it, or to show that we have it. So it's like when it runs in the way of what we're actually trying to get better at, it's like you got to throw that out.
Right.
You know?
'Cause I mean, just growing up, I mean, I know life gets hard as you get older, but I just think life was so much easier when I did have my coach,
Right.
my father, like
Male
all these,
teachers?
yes, like all these people that are guiding me, help guide me through
Right.
life. And then at some point, I don't know if it's in college or like when you kind of
Like
get
after
your
college.
freedom.
It's
Yeah.
probably
Just get
college,
pushed
bro.
out of the nest,
Like in
right,
college,
yeah.
in college you probably don't have that as much unless you like play a sport in college,
Right,
like,
right.
Unless you play like basketball or football, you continue to have that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, I would say after high school, you lose that.
And I don't, yeah, definitely. So I don't know if that's like supposed to be a part of life, because like even like when I was looking, it's a movie, but was it Gladiator?
Yeah.
Like where they raise the kid and then they send him into the wild, and he has to come back with a lion head. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. If that's,
Nah, for real though, they put those kind of things on us. But one thing that I will say real quick that just came into my head, I'm not trying to cut nobody off,
you're
but
good.
man, sometimes it feels like those mentors and those people in our lives are placed into our lives for us because of the things that we want to accomplish.
Right.
If you're going to be a part of the team, then you have to have a coach. And then as we get older, because our journeys get to be more, focused on where we are, we have to choose those people for ourselves in our lives.
That's
so it
big.
gets harder.
So you have to go find them.
Yeah, you have to
They're
go
not
find them.
necessarily
They're not placed in your life. Like
No, that's
yeah.
that's a valid point.
You know what I
makes
mean?
sense.
Yeah.
Like it's harder because we have to pick that. We have to pick those people now versus this is your coach. If you're gonna be on this team, this is your coach.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's
a
big,
good
bro.
point.
I think it's that, and I think also the fact that I think you were even talking about this is that even for me, like I feel like, and y'all know I struggle with asking for help and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's
Do we
it's-
know?
Same. No,
but
me
it's,
too,
it's,
bro.
it's primarily rooted in the fact that to answer your first question, no, I don't have that person that I really just submit to from an
Right.
authorities figure per se, but it's also because it's been ingrained in me that I got to go get it myself and figure it out. Like
Right.
in the definition somewhere in the psyche, I've said in order for me to be a man or to be a leader in this particular capacity, I got to figure it out.
I gotta
be
this
in
out.
quote unquote control to be able to say, nah, I should be able to find a solution to this problem and be able to navigate this myself. So it's that, and then it's the lack of transparency.
Yeah.
Like I ain't necessarily.
telling people.
I will let y'all in because y'all already this trusted circle, but letting somebody in with the authority to kind of just speak into my life, they don't really know information about me like that. So probably pride, ego gets into the mix. Like I don't necessarily want to be vulnerable. No, I don't want to be exposed.
For real.
I don't want to be exposed. That's in bottom line. That's what it
Yeah.
is. I don't want to be exposed, and I think you have to ask yourself the hard question: is why don't you want to be exposed?
Okay, JJ,
And
calm
I
down.
know.
No, I'm just saying that's
That's
real.
real.
I was gonna say
it
that
is.
earlier. So like I have
Too
no
real.
problem talking to y'all about my relationship, but my internal issues, I have a problem sharing, and it's because I don't want to be viewed different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's my big thing.
No, that is big. KJB.
We getting into it now.
Just do it just in love. Oh, he's shaking the table. Justin, do you have that person in your life that you are accountable to, that can come in and check you and say, "Hey, bro, go sit down."
So I feel like I do, but I mean, as we continue like to drill deeper into the conversation, it's like, all right, to Coop's point, like there are some like deep internal things that I just don't necessarily have like the time or space to really like break down. But I don't avoid them though. So if I'm having a conversation, I'm being intentional. But one of the things with like mentors, like you want to be valuable of their time. So it's like, all right, here's the top 3 things that's going on. It's like, all right, well, I accept levels of feedback and challenges. So one of my mentors is very direct, and he will tell me, "Hey, bro, you're wrong. Like, change this now." It's like, all right, I respect you to that high level that I have no problem saying, all right, like I can submit to that. And I would say even between like him and like even my pastor, like my pastor's been my leader, spiritual leader for like almost 10 years now. So he's seen me grow
That's
up.
a relationship.
Yeah,
at
he
this
can
point.
he can
Right.
truly say, "Hey, you've done this before.
Right.
Don't do this again." And it's like, all right,
And you
I
respect
trust
that and you
Yeah,
listen
like,
to it. Okay.
It's a certain level, and it's different. I think one of the big call outs as far as like transition for me from like adolescent to like adulthood, like my father had that level of impression on me, but it was also like a high level of fear.
Right. Right.
So like going to adulthood is like I don't necessarily fear these men, but like
I don't fear nobody but God. I don't fear nobody but God.
but what they're saying has has a fearful impact because they're like, hey, bro, I'm telling you,
Right.
out of love and like out of concern that like I'm not playing games with you. Like this is your life. You can do what you want, but I can be back at the end of the day and say I told you so, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna stick to it.
Bro, you know what? And it's so crazy because if we don't put a stop to it, it's going to continue going down. Like how many? I feel like in the past when you saw a youngster doing stuff, back in our day, you could check them and it would almost be like, okay, you're.
Take them to your mama.
Yeah,
type
like
stuff,
you're an
but you
older
can't do that
person.
now.
You're the
I'm
big
gonna
homie.
respect. I'm gonna respect that, but I don't just be out here. I got little cousins who be acting wild, bro, and I be like, if I bring this to you, are you gonna even respect it, or are you just gonna be like, hey, bro, get out of here? And I think we have to kind of get back to being able to check people, bro. Like I'll never forget in middle school, I had got into it with this teacher. And I was bold enough to walk out in the middle of the day, the front doors of the school. I had this guy named Mr. Diggs. I don't know if he was on lunch or what. He saw me walking out. Dude hopped in his car. I'm walking up the street, pulled up on the side of me and said, get back to that school right now. It made me walk. He could have let me in that car. But he didn't let me in that car.
He didn't drive me
Around, and he didn't drive me back, bro. He legit was like, hey, and he low key cussed me. He was like, get your ass back to that school. And so he turns around, makes a loop on the street, and drives next to me as I walk back into the school. But I respected his authority enough to be like, okay, Mr. Diggs told me to do this. I'm gonna do this. But as my life has transitioned, it's almost like I don't really have too many people that you could just come up and tell me, Dante, go do this, and I'm like, and I'm just gonna do it at face value because one, I don't. You know, as
don't
a man,
respect their authority.
I don't respect your authority, but also because I haven't let you in to that space in my life. So it's almost like we have to take accountability and start to Mike's point, go and find those people, but then also let them into those areas of life so that when they speak to it and tell us about ourselves, that we actually accept it and use it as constructive criticism. And I think it's really bad for men. I think women naturally just find kind of like mentors that can come in and like check them. Like Olivia has several people in her life that she will answer to. But
I'm not speaking on women's business.
I'm saying,
women's business.
I'm saying, but as a man, I don't necessarily have that. And I think in this season more than anything, that could probably be a big benefit. A big benefit just to me in marriage, but also just in life in general. Because if not, you struggle in silence.
And I'll say this on top of that is that kind of like what I'm listening and hearing, and it may be better to just start with this relationship that we have here because I'm viewing it from a relational standpoint, kind of like imposter syndrome. From the standpoint of like Coop talking about, he doesn't necessarily share those super internal things because he's afraid of being viewed differently. And oftentimes in imposter syndrome, you think of something that's not what it is. And so the moment that you are vulnerable and share like, hey, bro, this is something that internally I ain't never necessarily expressed or articulated before. And I shared in this space and not knowing necessarily what the outcome is. And then you see that, hey, bro, this is not a judgmental zone. Like, we don't view you no different. Also, maybe I'm struggling with this too.
We have the same thought.
And I ain't never heard nobody or nobody else has ever shared that before. So we can like work through this together. It then opens you up to be like, man, I'm not worried about being viewed differently anymore because I'm accepted within the group of people that I want for the deepest internal thoughts or challenges that I'm going through. Then it becomes easier to share with those above you because you're like, bro,
you start that habit.
I've already opened up in that safe space and I'm cool. Like I ain't got to worry now about if you view me a different way, then obviously this relationship is not meant to continue to last, right? Because you're not taking me for who I really am. The real me.
I think the final step in that though, because you said accepting accepting within the group that you're in, and you've allowed that authority or that like perspective in your life, the final step, or some would probably say the first step, is accepting that in yourself.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
regardless of the community. Yeah.
Come on, right?
That's the hard part,
but
right?
that's
It's
it.
like, regardless of what we have going on, regardless of whether or not the group that you're a part of sees you in a different way, you got to know that regardless of what you have going on, if you're taking the steps to try to better whatever situation that is, that's more than can be said for a lot of people.
That's true.
So you got to accept where you are and recognize that if you're trying to build on that, we building. But again, like we were talking about earlier, it's like starting with what you have. Like when it comes to the work, when emotional stuff too, like when we're building our self-esteem, like you got to recognize what your strengths and weaknesses are in terms of, I overshare. So I got to figure out how to find the middle between that and being completely closed off, because that don't help nobody either, right?
Right.
It's like regardless of what community you're trying to seek out, even if you don't find that community right away, you got to know and hear that you can accept whatever bullshit is going on.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
See,
Yeah.
and this can end. And men been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Because even in the Bible, when Adam let Eve eat that apple, and he was hiding from God, and God said, "Adam, where are you?" That boy was hiding. We've been hiding ever since.
Oh man.
Quit hiding. Quit hiding. We laughing, but for real, we need to get that accountability.
That's real.
Hey, that's a challenge.
Like you need to go and find that. So my next step for me personally is trying to be more transparent with y'all as the people that's on my level, but also just going through a list of guys that I respect that I will allow into that space. Crazy enough, don't know too many, so don't know where I'm going to find that person.
But they out there.
But they are out there, and that just takes cultivating relationships.
Yeah.
To go and do that. So that's tough.
I agree. It is tough.
You gotta tell people your business. Oh, I'm about to unlearn that. You know, part of adulthood is unlearning all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
I'm about to unlearn that. I'm struggling already.
Man.
Well, guys, we here now.
We are.
We done realized that we ain't transparent with our friends. We done realized ain't nobody gonna come in and check us.
Ain't nobody gonna save you.
Yeah,
Save
we done
yourself.
talked about Brandon. We done basically just sponsored by ET, and now we've come to the end of the episode. This is probably
I should
my
have been
favorite.
standing up. Should have been standing up the whole time.
This is probably my favorite part of the episode. It is time for our soundbite of the week, and this week our boy JJ gonna bring it.
Yes, sir. So the soundbite of the week is something that we just do at the end of the podcast, so that way it gives you a little gem, something to think about during the week. And this week's soundbite of the week is: the man on top of the mountain didn't fall there.
How'd he get there?
You gotta start climbing.
Nobody knows. He wasn't placed there.
He climbed there.
That's true.
Say that again.
The man on top of the mountain didn't fall there. Meaning, like, you can't just get to the top of the mountain just by somebody placing you there. It ain't that easy.
Appreciate you for that context.
You got to work towards it.
You gotta work towards it.
You got to climb the mountain.
And I think that fits perfectly because we talked about entrepreneurship and everything today that you got to climb.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So keep climbing.
And that mountain can be anything.
Even better, start climbing. Because if you already climbing, you're going to
Well, I
keep.
almost
You
knocked
gotta
myself start running.
climbing. You got to start working out right now.
The
Start
first time is
climbing.
right now.
Yeah. Start climbing. The time to start is now. We don't have as long as we think we do. You know what I mean? Like, for
That's
real.
fact. That's fact. Hey guys, we appreciate y'all tapping into another episode of the Soundboard Podcast. Hopefully, there was some value added onto your life. We encourage you, please go and share this with somebody who you think this could add value to their life, and also go and share it with your family, your friends. This is our soundboard. We welcome you to be a part of that. So if you know a guy who in need of some good influences, I don't know good, but a guy or a woman, please go and share this with them. Also, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and you have not left a rating or review, please take a second and do that. That's how people find out about the show and how we can help other people. If you want to keep up with me, you can follow your boy Dante at Dante Speaks Life. That's DONTAE Speaks Life.
And if you want to follow your boy JJ, you can follow me at _Jeremy J.
And you want to follow Coop, you can follow me at @thisiscoop_.
All things Big KJB at Just a Fiasco.
Mr. Felder on everything. FELDER. Appreciate y'all.
And we out.
Peace.